member in this community. We have come a long way. Thank you for starting the recording. We have come a long way today, and we are glad to be here, gathered today to share some more educational information, some more understanding facts for our community on our project called SCF and why we are gathered here today. So without any delay, let me just go ahead and put it on the board. So let me start off here with SCF. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some of the most recent updates. If for some reason you cannot see the board, one of the co-hosts let me know. If I'm blocking the board in any way as I start, also let me know, okay? So thank you. So what we want to do is start with, we'll start with a few announcements, but the first being what this ecosystem is about. That way it can give us all a further background understanding of the announcement that has been put before us, right? So we want to start off with SCF. And once again, what is SCF? As far as we know, SCF is a dual chain. So let me do this. A dual chain blockchain, right? And it's very important that we break these aspects down. We'll try to make this presentation as brief as we can, meaning that it has two blockchains, right? Two. So the first one being its main chain. And I usually tell people I call this the decentralized chain, right? The decentralized chain. And then we have the Fin chain, right? The Fin chain. And I call this the centralized chain. Right? So when you go into the PDF, right? And welcome our new guests that are also just coming in house right now. We have the decentralized chain and the centralized chain. So here is where we see the smart contracts and staking, right? And then here we see we'll start with something simple, wallet IDs, team rewards, nodes, right? And what else can we get from this? FinPay, right? We know FinPay is running on this. Okay, so that is the concept for this SCF blockchain, right? So now looking at this, what do we have in this ecosystem? We know we are able to do a few things in this ecosystem. Number one being that it constitutes of, we're going to talk about the ecological, there's this. Call it ecological benefits, right? We have node mining, right? Now I'm going to explain. And then we have number two, staking rewards. So these are the two main things that we know that helps us make passive income or active income inside of this ecosystem. Number three being the team bonus rewards. And then number four, which we are going to also speak about, is FinSoul. Right, FinSoul. Are you guys able to see me on the Zoom? Any of the codes, just let me know, because sometimes I do have interruptions on my phone. Just want to make sure. Gideon, are we able to see and hear everything?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So these are the main ecosystems for which we can currently earn from, right? So let's go into the announcements, right? Let me see if I can put the announcements on the board. So we all know that right after the last event that was just held in Nigeria, which I was there, a few leaders were on. Many leaders had flown out for that event. We got the announcements about the new changes that were ongoing, so we're gonna call these announcements, right? So we're here, this is a team update call for CRS. We just want to educate everyone. So they spoke about the completion of the user asset liquidation. We heard that some of their communities, which currently have been restored, from what I heard, from what we've heard in the announcements, Japan, Hong Kong, right? And I think maybe 2-3 other places. We're supposed to exit the ecosystem, but they had negotiated terms, and these communities have been brought back, and we've seen some new updates ongoing. Everyone is being brought back. So during this transition, the next announcement, where we were informed that our capital and rewards, right, had been converted into vouchers, right? Our capital and rewards had been converted into vouchers. Now, these vouchers, we received the announcement later on that we are able to subscribe. So there were 2,200 nodes that became available where we were made to subscribe, right? Both of my spelling is actually on point, but I believe that is subscribe, right? We were made to subscribe. So these are the main announcements that we have. Now, the last announcement that came recently was the introduction of the new cryptocurrency called FSL. So we are already aware SCF has its main native token, SCF, has a stable coin, FUSD, but now there's a third edition, FSL, right? So FSL token. Now, this token is based on the FinSoul ecosystem. So that's why we're going to speak about FinSoul today as well, right? Now, for those that are not informed of what FinSoul is the GameFi section where they have their games, AI games, and soon they're going to have 3D games, metaverse, and all these different things inside of that ecosystem, right? Also, we know about Finbox, which is the social media app that they just put inside of this ecosystem. So we received the announcement about FinSoul and the FSL token. And last but not the least, the trading of FSL on PancakeSwap, right? Right, so these are the main announcements, and if I missed anything, I'll try and circle back to it, but these are the main announcements that have been shared inside this ecosystem. So we're gonna go on to speak about number one, the node mining and what it is, right? And then we're gonna go further to speak about our stake and rewards and how we got converted into these 2,200 nodes, which we subscribe, and what we should look out for as far as the rewards that come from mining. Because since June 7th, right, myself and many other people in this community who were in FinTalk before they transitioned to create their own blockchain have been mining from June 7th all the way till today. We'll just call it October, right? We'll call it October. And between June and October is easily 4 months, give or take, if I'm not mistaken. Many of us have been mining the SCF coin for the last 4 months, right? Even till today, every single day. And for the members that are maybe new to the ecosystem, never owned a node, and now are part of these 2,200 nodes, you realize that yesterday and today, you have started to mine cryptocurrency, right? So let's go in to speak about these nodes before we even get into any more further details. So let me do this. Using some magic formula, right? Try and make this smooth as possible. So hopefully that's good enough, but let's go into detail. So let's talk about the nodes, right? So what is a node? To start off, a node is a device that, or a digital or physical device, right? That mines cryptocurrency, right? We know SCF has a total of 840 million coins that needs to be mined, right? Every day we are mining these coins because they have no ICO, no pre-sale, no person owns special coins in the back where they have coins they can make that no one is having access to. Literally, anyone with a node is the one that produces all the coins that will ever be in circulation. Now, we've seen other projects like Bitcoin and all these other projects where people have been mining for the last 18, 17, 20 years, right? Same thing with this project. Based on how this node structure is designed, we will be mining these coins for years before we will get to the 840 million coin mark, right? So currently, there has been a total of 24 million coins mined, and there has been only, so we'll call this mined, and we'll speak about released and unreleased, only 14.688 million coins released. So how this mining works is that what they are doing is they have something called a linear release pattern. So linear release, right? We call it linear release. And what is the goal of the linear release? It is to reduce how fast the coins are distributed so as to allow the project to grow the price and the equity inside the ecosystem, right? So there is a 180-day release cycle, meaning that every single day, portions of this cryptocurrency, day 1, day 2, day 3, is released in portions all the way to day 180 when the full unreleased gets released, right? It gets released out into circulation. So very soon, you're going to see that as there's more released, it'll get to a point the release will nearly equal the mine, meaning that they are releasing literally everything that has been held back from these nodes so as to control the distribution, right? So when a person receives a node, so let's say you had a $10,000 voucher, right? For example. So now let's speak about the staking. So we know that many of us were staking at what? Let's say you had a stake of $10,000, right? And you were making 1% a day, right? Let's use 1% a day, right? 1% a day. That means you are making on average 30% a month, right? 30% per month in ROI. So this was very, very comfortable. This was very, very productive. In fact, this was the basis and the foundation that you and I, many of us in this ecosystem, members today, actually got into this project called SCF. Now, I remember when it was FinTalk, before they created their ecosystem, we went through the same transition and we were given these nodes, right? We were given these nodes, and technically we, in a way, forfeited making 30% a month, and we're going to show you the breakdown of what we are currently making on these nodes, right? So we were making these rewards, so that means you would have made $3,000 a month, but now you had your capital. For those that were very, very new, right, that probably didn't make a lot of profit, didn't make 100% ROI already, you received twice in vouchers, right? So maybe you had staked 10,000, but you realized that you were given 20,000 in vouchers, right? So I'm just going to break down what this looks like, and then we'll come as to how we understand the reason behind all of these things, right? So you probably received about 20,000 in vouchers. So that's what you would have made if you were staking within maybe about 90 days, or maybe less than 90 days, right? So now let's go to the nodes. I was given a node when it was in FinTalk. I had a $100,000 node. All my capital and profits were converted into vouchers, right? So let's say you had a $100,000 node, right? In the last 4 months, this $100,000 node has produced roughly around $50,000 in coins. And that is at today's price of 60, let's call it $67, right, per coin at today's price. So in 4 months, if a $100,000 node voucher that was used to subscribe to a node has produced this amount in 4 months, this leads me to think this is about, is this 1 point, sorry, 10 point, divide 50,000 by 4 by 30 is going to be what, right? Let's say per month, even per month, let's divide this by 4.
What, 12,500?
Okay, 12,500. Now divided by 100, that would be 12.5%, right? So that's about 12.5% per month, right? 12.5% per month at this price. Now, if this price doubles, this percentage doubles. We know the price is volatile. It can go up or it could go down, but it's most likely to keep going higher, right? So think about that. This investment of 100,000 hasn't lost money. In the last 4 months, had made on average about 12.5% a month. Now, we all know this is not what we signed up for, but I can tell you that there are many programs out there. If people were to get this type of return, they would say yes, right? So technically, we still have an income producing, right? Producing asset that is not going anywhere. And that is what we need to take out of this. This is something of value that is going to keep making coins. But here, whatever coins you're making, the value of the price of the coin, as it goes up, it increases how much you're making, because you will always receive a set number of coins, right? And then now we'll go to the breakdown, how it is released, right? Because for a lot of the new members, I know you guys receive your coins and you're wondering, wait, is this all I'm gonna get? Is this all that there is to it? We'll go through the numbers, right? So how do we get to 100,000 making over 50,000 in 4 months? And out of that 4 months, Let me actually put this here. Let me erase it so I can start on this side. Okay. So we have a node, $100,000 node, right? And guys, the same thing would be for 10,000 or 1,000. You just have to divide it by 10 or 100, right? So the reason I'm using this is just an example that I can show you in my own wallet. So it produced in 4 months $50,000, but out of it, only 18,000 was released for withdrawals, right? Remember, release and mine are not the same. There has been 24 million coins mined, but only 14.6 has been released. This node made $50,000 worth of coins, but only 18,000 plus has been withdrawn, right? So let's break down the mining cycle and how it works. So if I'm not mistaken, and if someone can go into the screenshot that shows how much a $100,000 subscriber makes. Is there anyone that could give me that number? I think there is a screenshot in one of the groups, if I'm not mistaken, that breaks down the number. Let me see if I can find it. Give me one second. I think it would be, is it 19 coins or 1.9 coins?
1.9934.
1.9934, right? So this produces 1.9934 coins a day, right? Coins a day. And that is for the 100,000, right? Or is it for the 10,000?
That's for the 100,000.
Okay, so 1.993 coins a day. So this would be the total mined, right? This would be what is mined per day. Now, when it comes to what is released, this is how it works. So day one, let me break it down for you. Day one, it would be 1.9934 divided by 180. And then whatever the answer is what you're going to get as 0.0, I think maybe 0.03 something, right?
0.0.
Yeah. 0. What?
0.11074.
1.9934 divided by 180. You said it would be what?
It will be 0.011074.
0.11074, right?
Yep.
Okay. So that will be day one. Day one. Now day two, right? Day two, you're gonna have day one is 199 plus the 199. So you have 2 days. This would be times 2. So 1.999 times 2. Let me just do it this way.
3.9868.
Divided by 180. So then basically, day two would be double what you made for day one, right? So that would be 0.022148, right? That's what you're gonna produce day two. Now day three, it would be 1.9934 plus itself 2 times. So day three, it will be 1.9 1.934 plus 1.9934 plus 1.9934, right? Divided by 180. So this would be a little bit somewhere maybe around 0.03 something, right? Or 4 something. And that is how it will keep growing every single day. You're gonna get to a point where you're probably making 1.02 coins a day, right? Next day, 1.2 something coins a day, and it's gonna keep growing till day 180, where you would now get the whole 1.9934 coins being released that day, the next day, and the day after with no hold on the release. And now remember, all profits from the mining, all of this is withdrawable daily, right? So you're not waiting just for day 180 to be able to make a withdrawal. You can literally withdraw whatever comes in your released mining every single day, right? So I hope I've been able to break down how this works, but this is technically how these nodes are going to keep releasing these coins. And that is why they, in 4 months, even though it had mined $50,000 worth of coins, I had been able to withdraw over 18,000 plus in rewards, right? In coins out of the mining, right? And that's how this works. I believe that explains the mining part. The next thing we want to get into is some of the new changes inside of the ecosystem. And then at the end, we'll probably get into Q&A, right? Okay. So let's go into the next announcement. So the next announcement is about FinSoul and FSL coin, right? FinSoul and the FSL coin. So what is FinSoul? FinSoul is the GameFi. When we talk about GameFi, basically where you have the games inside of this app. You know that the SCF has different ecosystems, and gaming is one of them, right? Now, inside of this ecosystem, they have launched their own coin called the FSL Token. Now, this coin is currently tradable on PancakeSwap, right? Now, this is vital to the recent announcement that was released, right? Because as we currently know, when everything got paused in the ecosystem for this new upgrade, we are not able to trade directly the way we used to SCF. Remember, we do SCF to FUSD, and then we do FUSD to USDT, right? At the moment, there is a new change and transition. This is what we are going to do now. You're gonna now have to, so this is old, we call this old, but this is coming back, right? This is only temporary, right? This is only temporary, so this is coming back, but now, based on the announcement, the activity for users to get USDT would be to go through SCF to FSL, right? And then from FSL to USDT. But there's an activity that needs to be done inside of the FinSoul ecosystem in order to obtain the USDT, right? So let me give you my understanding as to why. So let me give you, we'll call this opinion, right? But it's based on just me taking some information and data as to what's going on. So SCF has partnered with multiple game companies, right? They didn't create the games, but they partner with different gaming companies who are probably paying them, right? In order for them to host their games, because they have wallets, aka users in their ecosystem who can play it, right? So you have an ecosystem, you have millions of wallets. What do? You can pitch any big company and say, look, our users can play your games if you're willing to partner with us, and then they'll be able to make profits from these companies in order to do so. But they have the little activity inside of FinSoul. So the reason they launched this coin is to grow the activity. This is just how I'm able to understand what's going on, right? So now by funneling all the users into FinSoul, it's going to create transactions and activity inside of this, which is going to help them grow that FinSoul ecosystem to be profitable in order to keep attracting more and more users. So at the moment, what we have to do now is when you go, you will do something called an exchange. We will go into FinSoul and we will exchange, right? We'll exchange SCF for FSL. But the FSL is only released after you play, or we'll call it click, right, inside of the games to release your FSL. There is no win or loss of crypto. So whatever you put in, if you did $100 in conversion, you would get back $100 worth of FSL, period. They just want the activity, they want the data. So they can be able to pitch more and more gaming companies to give them more profits in order to host them inside of the app. They're looking for ways to be profitable as a business. And that is, in one way, we can call it a good strategy, right? So that's their strategy. It's a good strategy to maintain profitability, right? So that's why I believe we are all going through this route. So once everything is fully operational, I think by the end of tonight, when you go into your apps, I do not know if it's on yet today, but I'm gonna check. Last I checked, it still wasn't fully activated, but you're doing an upgrade on it. Yep, still under construction. So hopefully by tomorrow, we will be able to start exchanging. Now remember, everything here is only temporary till they then bring inside of the swap a direct exchange from SCF to FSL. So you can take your FSL directly to PancakeSwap without even playing any of the games inside of the app, right? So this is only temporary till they are able to complete all this data collection that you're doing for this process. So that is what we have here to do, and that is the announcement that we have received. There will be a separate training with videos on how to use PancakeSwap, how to exchange your SCF for FSL. At the moment, it is not fully functional. We were hoping that it would be functional as of this Zoom, but it is not. So that is the last announcement that we have before the last statement that was released, and then from there we'll get into Q&A, right? Because we don't want to keep this as a very long call. We want to make this as short as possible, and then we can pass the recording out to our fellow team members, right? So I hope everyone can hear me down on the Zoom. Did you guys hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can hear loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, so the last announcement has to do with Finbox, right? So I just wanted to go over that real quick. So Finbox is a messaging service, right? We call it a messenger service or app, where we are able to create our social media accounts inside of this project, social media accounts, just mainly for texting, right? So it's not like your typical Facebook or TikTok, but it's made for messaging, allowing you to message people inside your community. We'll call them wallets, right? Inside of your community. So this helps to streamline conversations between members. Maybe you had a wallet in your ecosystem, you don't know who it is. If every member subscribes to the Finbox, it will help team leaders and team members be able to identify and communicate with members inside of your ecosystem. So we advise that if you haven't gotten on Finbox yet, go inside the wallet and get on your Finbox, get your nickname on the app, and then that way people can be able to interact with you as well. So yeah, this in all brings us to the end of the training, right? As far as all the new information that was released. Now let's go to, because a lot of people ask me, Kojo, what is your opinion on this project and how do you feel? Are you feeling comfortable? One thing I'll say here is number one, I'm not here to defend a company, right? I don't work for a company, right? I focus on my investment, but most importantly, I really value my community, right? So I believe everyone here actually falls in number 2 and number 3. We all have something of value that we exchange to make profits inside of this ecosystem. We understand that crypto has its own risk, but it also has its rewards, right? So as much as we look at the risk, we also look at the rewards, because if you are able to make something out of the situation and you haven't lost, then it means you have won, right? So what do I mean by lost? If you're in a project and there's a major change and you go into your back office and you have $0 in there and you are able to extract $0, then you have lost, right or wrong. But if you go into a project and you go and you find equity of some sort, right? In this case, we will call it nodes. And your nodes are able to produce profit. I believe the answer is we have won, right? And if you guys agree, drop the 1 in the chat, because this is just my basic understanding of how things work, right? So, you have a question? Yeah. We'll get to questions ASAP, right? So with that understanding, it leads me to understand that my community, as far as people I have shared this with and the people they have shared this with, we are all on the winning side as long as we are able to extract profits from this situation. So that is why I'm here, and that's why we're having this training. That's why we are having this education, sharing information, because our goal is not to figure out why we got into a situation we didn't ask for or subscribe to. It's how we can make the most, how we can make the most out of the situation. Right, and I believe with the coming days and more training, everyone in this group, Cash Rich Society, CRS, will be able to maximize this regardless of the risk and go for the rewards. Right, and I feel that's very important to all of this. So this brings me to the end, right? And what we're gonna